Good morning, everyone. Thanks very much for joining this webinar. I'm going to keep it really short and sweet, hopefully. It's going to take around 30 minutes. So let me tell you what the plan is. I'll just take you through a couple of challenges that we're facing on a day-to-day basis in mobile app testing. Then we go on to showing a small demo as to how we are solving these problems with the help of something called an agentless mobile test execution. Right. And then we have a really cool set of questions that have been asked by all of our registrants. So we'll be taking that up. Pretty interesting questions, something like how do you set up a COE, the Center of Excellence for Quality in your company, right? We do have some other questions based on openings and stuff, and we will be discussing that. So if you guys have any questions at any point in time, please raise your hand. Unmute yourself. You can ask questions whenever you need, right? So I would like to start this. I'd like to start this webinar by saying one thing, that is it's very difficult and it's very tough being a mobile app test automation engineer in today's day, right? There are, I mean, we were only aware of web application testing, but then something else came up called mobile app testing, right? Web application testing was already tough. There are thousands of combinations of browsers, operating systems, machines that you need to run your tests on, plus the quality of code that has been written by your developers. You have no idea what they have written, right? The job of an automation test engineer was already difficult, and then we came across something called mobile app testing. Now, as more and more people move on to buying products on mobile apps and move away from web applications, right? So something like Flipkart, most people want to buy products on 80% of e-commerce sales happens on mobile phones. So everybody is moving on to mobiles. The biggest challenge today is a variety of mobile applications, right? It's so easy for a user or even a developer to create one of these applications. You can see there are three different big types of mobile applications: native, hybrid, and web, right? And we have so many platforms to create these applications today. For example, Flutter. Flutter is one of my favorite frameworks to create cross-platform mobile applications. You can create Android as well as iOS applications through one piece of code, right? Similarly, React Native. People say React Native is faster than Flutter. Then there is Ionic framework, gives you beautiful designs, beautiful UX on a mobile application. PhoneGap, we have Xamarin also. So this is just a small part of the type of frameworks there are to create mobile applications in the market. Looking at the number of applications that are released onto the App Store or the Google Store every single day, there are 3,000 to 30,000 apps that are being released every single day, and more apps are getting created because of the digital transformation that's happening today. Everybody is online, food ordering is online, right? And the number of the kind of different ways of different operating systems, different versions of Android, different versions of iOS, there's hardly any food item remaining to be named on an Android OS or an Android version, right? We have cupcakes, donuts, eclairs, froyos, gingerbreads. We have got every bloody thing. So how is an automation test engineer, particularly a mobile app testing engineer, how is a testing engineer supposed to, test an app on all of these devices and all of these combinations, iOS 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You have no idea what's going to happen in the next iOS version. There is going to be 100 different versions in the next 5 years, right? Where do you see Android and iOS moving in the possible future? There's going to be multiple versions, streamlined. There are going to be lots of more issues coming in with more development happening. There'll be more regression issues. And a mobile app testing engineer has to go through this entire cycle and process of finding bugs manually first and then through automated test scripts, right? And what is the solution that you have in the market today? That's you just have Selenium and Appium, which break most of the times. You create an application framework, you create a testing framework with these things. Things don't really run. I mean, I've been a mobile testing engineer for a while, and I've had great difficulties in automating test cases for mobile phones, especially iOS or an Android. We weren't even given iOS devices to test. So how will a mobile app testing engineer, even find bugs related to iOS? It's really difficult. So just talking about more challenges in the mobile app testing space. Every single device comes with a different size. So you see a certain button on a certain device, which is not available on a certain other device, right? As an example, I worked on an app called 8x8, which was basically a mobile, it was a conferencing solution, right? Call conferencing solution. So basically the test cases involved multiple different phones. One test case had an Android, iOS plus Samsung, whatever, right? Multiple devices connecting together and helping users talk and be in a conference, right? So you are right now, you go and write a script in Java, Python, whatever you want. You want to connect all these devices. It's so difficult because the UI keeps breaking between devices and devices, right? It's all pretty different. And look at the right side, the bottom right corner. We have a foldable phone now. So how is an automation test engineer supposed to test it, right? Are you going to fold it in a script? You can't do it, right? So these are the kind of challenges that we are facing in the mobile app testing space. And at Test Sigma, we are trying to solve these problems one by one, and we have already given the world a beautiful product that helps any mobile test engineer to start scripting or even start testing and executing test cases within a matter of seconds or even minutes, right? So I mean, this is one question that I'd like to ask you. You see the phone on the right hand side at the bottom. It's a folding phone. Any of you guys have any ideas as to how to test this, either manually or through an automation testing script? Please share it with us. We would definitely like to discuss it on our platform. You can write to us at support@testsigma.com, or you can write to me at mahesh@testsigma.com. Right? We would love to have a conversation and understand your points of view. Right? So let's go ahead to what we call a new era in mobile app testing. Please let me know if I'm going a little fast. I just want to keep things really brief and put major focus onto the demo that we are going to show. Now, coming to something called agentless mobile app inspection and test execution, right? I'll just show you the slide, and probably with the animation, you'll be able to understand what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So this is how we were testing mobile apps before. We had mobile test executions being controlled by external components, and we used to call it as an agent, right? Now it's something really path-breaking that our development and architecture team has done and given to the world. Now, you see that we are cutting down or removing this whole external component part or the agent execution part, right? This is one thing that I've been waiting for since a very long time. Why do we really need an external component to test a mobile application, right? So then we head on towards something, no more external components, right? So this led us to building something like a drone, right? A drone architecture. Now we don't have any external components connecting our mobile tests to the executions. We don't need any external components, and most importantly, what we call it as an agent, which is an external software program which actually connects our Test Sigma servers with your test machines, right? To understand what devices you want to run your tests on. So this is a simple idea that we are presenting today. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. You can ask on the chat. Of course, I'm not able to see the chat right now, but I think one of my teammates will be able to let me know what questions you have posted on the chat, right? Now, let's go ahead directly into the demo and see how this is actually happening and how simple it is to write. Let me say author, right? I'll change the word. I'll call it as author. So I'll show you how easy it is to author a test case in Test Sigma. specifically for Android and iOS. And the kind of the app that I've picked for this project is a calculator app, because it's simple, it's easy to understand, it's simple to show as well. You can see all the different keys of a calculator. So these are the videos that I've recorded just in case there is an internet disruption or something else, right? A technical issue. So what I'll do is I'll take you right directly into the app. So we'll be creating an Android test project first. We'll be uploading the APK. Once we upload the APK, we will be trying to, we'll add all the elements onto our UI identifier list. So I'll also show you what an UI identifier is. And once that is done, we will see how easy it is to write a test case and run it and execute it, and even see the results, the video of that execution, as well as screenshots within a span of minutes, right? Let me also explain to you how much work it takes if you want to write something on your own. If you want to write a set of scripts through any of the frameworks available, you have to first design a framework and then build that whole initial set of scripts that will launch your app. Once you do that, you still have no idea if that app is going to be launched, right? Then the app needs to be loaded. You probably need a simulator, or you want to connect your local device. Most of the times, your local Android or iOS device do not get recognized by your Windows machines or your Mac machines. If you ask me why, there is hardly any reason. What you do, sometimes people restart their machines. Sometimes people restart ADB, that's the Android device, whatever, right? So, I mean, lots of issues that you will see if you go out, create a framework of your own, try Appium for a change. You will understand how easy it is to code. Sorry, not code, I'll not say code, right? How easy it is to author tests and run and execute it on Tessigma as compared to Appium, right? So let's go directly into the app now. I'll take you to app.tessigma.com. Please let me know if you're not able to see the screen. So this screen is what used to be the agent, right? So agent used to be, let me try and download it. It used to be around 875 MBs of a file. It used to be a software program which used to connect the Tessigma servers with the machine that you are running it on. So we don't need this right now. Let me cancel the download. Let's go ahead and create a simple Android project, and then we will upload the app onto this, right? Create a new project, Android test project. Single application. So if you see that my screen is shaking, I'm using a standing desk to type, so it might take like 10 seconds more than usual to type anything on the screen. Android native app. Okay, there you go. So we just created a simple Android project. So this is one of the best things about Tessigma. It gives you a logical, division between your Android tests and iOS tests and web application tests, as well as REST API application tests, right? So before creating a test case, we need to do one thing. We need to show the Tessigma server that, we need to upload this APK file. I have my calculator APK file right here. Let me upload it. So once this is done, we will tell the test what elements it needs to click or what elements it needs to verify, right? So we will do that within another couple of seconds. So we have uploaded the APK file. Now let's head on to what a UI identifier is. So you must be wondering what a UI identifier is within Tessigma. A UI identifier is something similar to a locator that you use in Selenium. That is basically gives you an address of an element on a web page or on a mobile application. But a UI identifier does a lot more than what a locator does. A locator is simply an XPath, but a UI identifier generally gives you a lot more, a collection of information that is parent nodes, child nodes, and a lot more information than a simple locator. So that's why we call it as UI identifiers. And the moment you create a UI identifier in here, you will find it in this list. So now what you're going to see on the screen is what we call as Tessigma Mobile Inspector, right? You don't have to install anything, no agents, no external interfaces, no third-party components, nothing actually. So we just created an Android project. We have uploaded the APK, and it took us literally less than a minute. Once the app loads onto the Test Sigma Mobile Inspector, so since I'm loading it for the first time, it will probably take around 20 to 30 seconds. But the second time, it should ideally not take so much of time. So you see the app. It's a simple calculator app. I really like the penguin, which is in here, and that's why I chose this. Guys, any questions you have, you can just raise your hand, or you can put it on the chat. Okay, so now we have the app. Let's go ahead and save a couple of these elements onto our UI identifiers list, right? So I'll just save this as num1. I'll call this as calculator, and done. I'll take 1.4 num4 screen calculator, done. I'll take two calculator. So while I add these onto my UI identifier list, I want you to do one thing. Just check out this number 142857. If you have a calculator on your machine, just type out 14285 and 7 and multiply it by numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You will, and just observe the results and see how what results you find. The number is 142857. Calculator 142. Okay, I have not done 8. Let's say num8 calculator, done. 14285 and 7. Okay, let's say num7 calculator screen. Okay, now let's multiply it with 2, just for multiplication screen name calculator, done. Now I'm done with 142857 multiplied by, I'll take 2 again. I already have 2 in here. Okay, let's say equals, and I'll just pick out the same screen name because there's only one screen around here, right? So what I'm essentially doing is I'm just choosing to click on 1 and then 4. Let's see why it's taking a little bit of time. 4. Give me a moment while I type this out. Okay. I think we have 2 messages on the chat. I hope. Are there any questions? To 8. Five and 7. Just a moment. 2857. Okay. So this is a beautiful math example. This is, I think it's called a magic number. You can just give this a try. 142857. Tap, enter into. So we will just do into 2. And then press equals. Okay. And see what the answer is, and then we'll just verify. Yeah, you see this? It's simply a palindrome. I don't know if you see it as a palindrome. It's 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, and 7. Right. So let's take this as the result. Now we almost have all the elements that we need for a test. Right. And the result, let me say it's 2, 8. Let me copy this. Oh, sorry. 285714. 285714. Okay, so now let me close the screen. We have all the elements that are required to write this test case. So we will just go directly onto the test cases page and simply create a new test. Calculator multiplication test. Right, let's go in. Let's create the launch app. Launch app is going to be the first thing every time. Tap, we will use the tap NLP to simply choose the UI identifier which we have just created. I'll choose num1, create, tap on UI identifier. 1.4, I want 1.4, create, tap on, create. Okay, sorry, I sort of missed adding 2. Okay. Tap on UI identifier. 1428. Let me hit on 8. Create. Tap on UI identifier. And 5. Tap on UI identifier. You can actually clone all these steps, but I choose to just takes one step at a time. 7. Create. So let me tap on the multiply buttons. Multiplication, create. Now you have tap on UI identifier, which is supposed to be 2. Where is 2? Yeah, got it. I seem to have forgotten the result, so I need to check that again. Mint UI identifier text test data is not displayed. Let us just check element and displays text test data. Okay, let me pick this out. The result. Okay. What was that? Equal to 142857. 28. Let me just have a look. Give me a moment, guys. I'll just multiply it. I seem to have forgotten that. What is that number? 142857 into 2. Yeah, it's 285714. 285714. Got it. So we have now authored a test within a span of minutes. I'll just run the test directly. No setup required. Android 11, Google Pixel 4. Let me show the uploaded APK to this test. I will choose all steps in here for the screenshots. Let's also keep retry device allocation in case the device allocation fails. And then there you go. I have just run the test case, right? So we have freshly written a test case. We've uploaded the APK file. We have also chosen to prove a certain mathematical theory, that is, we are trying to multiply 142857 with the number 2 and see that the result is again, the result should also contain the same digits in the number, right? So we'll just give it a second for the test to run. Let me tell you what happens when you click on run. The run button is sending a signal out to the Test Sigma lab. The Test Sigma lab will give you a device that is basically Google Pixel 4 on Android 11, and that device has to start. And once that device starts, the calculator app is installed on the app. After the installation is complete, the tests start running. That is the click. The tap on UI identifier NLPs will tap on each and every digit on the calculator screen and eventually render you the results in the form of a video of the test execution as well as screenshots. So let's wait and watch what has happened to our test execution. Okay, the result is not good. This is not good. Okay, so basically I just took a wrong UI identifier. It is comparing it with the 1842.
Mahesh,
Yeah.
I think you missed to click on tap on equals, as someone pointed on this chat, like Arun Kumar. It's a good catch, Arun Kumar. Yeah.
Oh, great.
You can add a step after that.
Yeah, I'll just add it. 1 second. Hey, thanks a lot, Arun. I think that was a huge mistake from my end. Let me just add that step here and rerun that test. Tap on UI identifier and equals. Got it. So now let's rerun this test. Use uploads. 5 steps. Oh, I didn't choose the retry device allocation, but that's okay. We'll just give it a try once again. Just give it a try on your calculators. The number 142857. It's quite interesting how math works. I was surprised and astonished at the same time to see that when you multiply this 142857 with any number between 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, the same digits reappear in a different sequence. So that's something quite interesting. I don't know what the number is called. Maybe it's called as magic number. So we'll just give it another 5 seconds. Guys, I hope the webinar is going well and you've been able to learn or get some more knowledge out of this short webinar. Please do ask all your questions, add it onto the chat box. My team and I will make a very good attempt of answering these questions. In the meantime, we also have some announcement, which is something really interesting that we are doing at Test Sigma. I think we will probably take it at the end of this webinar, just trying to keep you on your toes. We have a really interesting announcement to make at the end of this session. Okay, great. Arun, thanks a lot. We have the result, and we have just proven that when that magic number is multiplied by 2, we have the magic number in the digits in a reverse sequence. So let's have a look at the video of this test execution. Quickly, this is a 25-second video. We have already done 30 minutes. So yeah, there you go. The penguin has appeared. 142857. Multiplied by 2. That's pretty slow. What just happened? Okay, that should be fine. So let me also, I would love to show you a demo for iOS as well. But I'm just going to take you through a very simple example. I'll just add 2 numbers, 1 and 2, and show you it's 3 with a different app, of course. Let me show you how an iOS app is created. I mean, an iOS project is created. I'll just take a name, iOS project. Create single application. I don't want any versions. So next, iOS native app, create. Okay, I already have a project with that name. So let me go back, create a different one. iOS webinar project. And I'll add a number 1 so that there are no other projects like that. iOS native app. It takes you less than 5 seconds to create a logical separation, to create a simple project that is specific for iOS. So let's go and upload the iOS IPA file. If you need any information on how to test all these things, please do get in touch with us. We will help you out with automating mobile testing, or if you want to learn anything about mobile testing, please do get in touch with us so that you learn, we all win at the end of the day, right? Okay, we have uploaded the IPA file. Now going on to UI identifiers. Let me record. I'll just record 2 or 3 max. I'm not going to record everything here because it's going to take a little more time than. So we are running out of time. It's already 30 minutes. So I'll just allow the application to load on the screen on the mobile inspector for iOS. So the good thing is you see how easy it is to author tests. I just showed you how you can tap on UI identifiers or launch an app or verify that there is a certain text present on a certain element. We recorded all the UI identifiers within a matter of seconds, and you were able to run, execute, see the results as well within a matter of minutes. And mostly it took more number of minutes because of my mistake that I had not really clicked on the equals button, right? So yeah, we are at 30 minutes. We need another 10 to 15 minutes for the question answers round. I see a couple of messages on the chat box. Do we have any questions?
Yeah. Yes, Mahesh. So Arun Kumar, again, it's Arun Kumar. And thanks for asking this question, Arun Kumar. Like, yeah, so we have, the question here is like, we have functionality like social login. For that, like, we have to log into Facebook or like Facebook already, and then tap on sign in using Facebook icon under the app, and we are testing. So how can we achieve that? So Arun Kumar, like, it just like we have an option to switch between apps. You can use that to switch between, and then like automate actions on the Facebook app, and then you can come back to this your own application. Yeah, that's possible. And the follow-up question here is like, explain about capturing the native and web UI elements. Yes, that is also possible. Like, there is an option to switch between a web and native UIs. Like, if the app has both, you could actually see that see both the options available in the UI, like in the right mobile inspector itself. So in this case, just because like it's not like the web view is not available in the calculator app, like we're not able to show it, but yes, that is supported, and we can have a separate call for that, like Arun Kumar, if you want us to show you how it works. So is this a paid tool? Yeah, so we'll try to cover this at the end. It's not paid. Yeah, so we have an interesting offer, not offer, like interesting approach to for the platform. So we'll try to discuss that at the end of this call. This was from Neeraj. Thanks, Neeraj. And Akash Gupta, hi Mahesh, could you please show one test with multiple sets of data? Okay. Yeah, Akash, like we have a data-driven testing supported, but I'm not sure like whether we can show it now, just because we have very less time and we have like handful of questions to answer. I'm really sorry. Like, can we have a separate follow-up call? You can reach out to us, and you can schedule a call with us. You can go to testsigma.com and then click on schedule a demo, and where we will be able to spend a lot of time one-to-one. Like we can try to customize the demos for you, and we can take your real-time scenarios and help you automate all of that. And all these scenarios are possible, whatever you're asking here. So, and also like we'll make a note of it, and we'll get back to you. We'll reach out to you via email to find your availabilities to schedule a call if you're not planning to do that from your side. Neeraj, can we do integration testing? Yes, so we can do integration testing as well, Neeraj. So we can take it offline if you want to see how it works.
Okay, great. So I have added all the locators. I have authored the test. I'm just adding one with digit 2, and I'm just showing that it is not 4. I should have taken this as 3. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'll just run the test in between. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions, probably we can take that up. Okay.
And also, whatever scenario that we are trying to explain here is a very simple and basic, just to tell you like how it works. And yes, so the tool is built for not like the simple scenarios. It's built for all complex scenarios. That's a very big difference compared to other automation testing tools that you see out there.
Exactly. So I just picked up the calculator scenario because it's easy to understand. It's easy to show. You can actually test. It's easy to understand the addition or multiplication process. I didn't want to show you another login feature because most of the webinars and most of the videos that you will see online, they only test login, right? And it's the same thing over and over again. So I'm not doing login feature during this webinar, but I'm just showing you the calculator. It sounds pretty nice to me. So you need any help with any complicated test cases, any more questions, you can also always send us an email, drop an email at support@testsigma.com, or you can send me an email directly. My email ID is mahesh@testsigma.com. That is mahesh@testsigma.com. Right? Please feel free to get in touch with us. It doesn't have to be just about the product. If you need any information about testing, how mobile automation is done right now in the industry, how you should start learning. We have some interesting questions on that as well, as to how somebody can start their career with mobile application testing, right? So we would love to answer that during the Q&A session. Just after this, I show you the result here. So have a look at my screen. I just authored a test case within seconds. I also collected all the UI identifiers, and then I have run the test, and you see that the results are pretty okay, right? 1 + 2, that's a very basic test case. But then let me just take you to the end of this test case. Yeah, that's it. That's all this test is doing. So that's the demo. Now let's go ahead onto the Q&A section, right? I just showed you a demo for Android as well as iOS. I do have a couple of videos that I'd love to show, but we don't have enough time. So Q&A part 1, we have 2 parts. We have a lot of questions. We had to divide it as 2 parts, right? KR, feel free to pick up any question you want. I'll just read through the questions first.
Go ahead, Mahesh. We'll see.
Yeah. So what is the future of mobile test automation? Give me a moment, guys. Yeah. So what is the future of mobile test automation? What is the best UI automation tool for mobile? Again, right? Mobile test automation follows the mobile phones, the mobile apps, the way they are created. Recently, we saw something called progressive web apps. They didn't really do well in the market, but we are back onto something called cross-platform frameworks like Flutter, or just the way I showed you, Xamarin, or even React Native. Like a couple of days back, I wanted to create an app, and I was thinking, what is the difference between Flutter and React Native? And if you go around searching for these information, there's hardly anything. Any Flutter developer would say that Flutter is good. Any React Native developer would say React Native is good. And tomorrow, if Google comes out with a different, newer approach to creating an application where it's a cross-device, cross-platform, and everything else, with a better UX and UI, then people will move on to that. So the future of mobile test automation is just simply following the mobile apps themselves, right? Which is the best UI automation tool for mobile, hands down. It is Test Sigma. Please give it a try. We don't talk a lot, mostly actions speak louder than words. Give us a try. You will see how easy it is to create tests, author tests, run tests at the cheapest prices possible, right? And we will also discuss about that interesting announcement that we have for you guys, right?
Yeah, sorry, Mahesh. To add to that, it's a good point. And so to add to that, the mobile technology is evolving, right? It's evolving faster than ever. It's changing every day. There are new apps, new technologies to build apps, new frameworks to build apps. So your platform, the tool that you're going to select, should be able to scale or also change accordingly, or you should be able to change the platform or the tool, or the vendor has to support that kind of changes that happening very fast, right? So I would say the open source approach would be the best. Any tool that supports the customizations or the extendable versions of a platform or an open source platform is a good option for you to choose. Yeah. So what really matters and important here is the extendability of the platform. Can you really extend for the future requirements, for the new technologies on which the mobile applications are built? Go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah. So going to the second question, that's can we automate mobile apps without coding knowledge? Absolutely. Today, I mean, the way the industry is moving, people are creating mobile applications in no-code, low-code platforms. There needs to be no code to create an application. And there are lots of examples. You can just check it out, Google them. You will find a lot of platforms which will deliver you applications without writing code. So when people are creating or developing applications without code, there are also people like us, we are giving you a wonderful product which is helping you create, write test cases, author, without knowing any kind of coding, right? It's actually a difficult approach if you want to write test automation frameworks using Java, Python, C Sharp, and then start testing it. It's quite a difficult approach. I wouldn't really suggest that. Please try the no-code platform that we have. It's a beautiful platform. Okay, how do we integrate Test Sigma release in our automation framework? If yes, does it involve any cost? So I'd like to take this question at the end. We'll talk about what KR just told you just now. We'll talk about our approach and our big announcement. Coming down to question number 4, that is scope of QA in foreign countries. What is the experience and qualifications required to work there? I will not get into the specifics of other countries. The idea today is that India is the best destination for you if you are an engineer, right? Most of the projects from foreign countries gets outsourced to India. So we have around 3 lakh engineers being hired this year. I don't know if it's 3 lakhs or 30,000 because of the pandemic and the digital transformation that's happening. More and more engineers are being hired, and we have a dearth of skilled engineers in the market today. So going to a different country is something that I wouldn't advise, but you want opportunities. India is the land of opportunities today. You will get lots of openings everywhere. If you would like to work with us, please send out, please contact us at support@testsigma.com. Come to us, talk to us. We can discuss and see what can be done, right? Going to the next part 2 of our Q&A. Where should I start for mobile test automation? Now you have 2 different approaches. You want to learn Java, Python, C Sharp, and then you want to go ahead, learn how Selenium works, and then how Appium works, and then or XUI test or something else. There are lots of frameworks in the market. You want to go and use WebDriver IOs of the world, but that's a very difficult approach, I'd say. The best way to enter into the mobile test automation world would be with us, because I have to be saying that, I have to say that I've tried it out. I've learned how mobile test automation works and how easy it is to automate mobile test cases. So I would suggest that you use Test Sigma and learn how the whole thing can be done without using code, right? Drawbacks of codeless automation and how to resolve.
Mahesh, can I take that question?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Generally, like the codeless approach or codeless or a no-code approach, right? There are no drawbacks as such with the approach, but like the drawback is mainly with the tools, right? So the simple tools doesn't scale, but at the same time, like that's why we choose the most complex test stack like the Appium, Selenium, and all, right? And because it just scales as you grow or as it gets complex in your the test automation journey. So I would say, like I want to call this as the drawbacks of codeless automation testing tools, where if they don't support the customizations as I mentioned before, the technologies are evolving. Like if the tool is either by themselves or like they should have one of these options, like they support or you extend the platform. If you don't see any of these options, yeah, then there is going to be a very big drawback with the simple codeless automation testing tools. But codeless automation testing tool as such, there are no drawbacks. So it's good. It's going to get much better eventually. And how to resolve, as I said, like as simple, right? And to find a right tool that where you can extend or that can support all your feature requirements, and there will not be any drawbacks with the codeless approach.
Absolutely. Yeah. The next question is, would like to know how your tool is different from Selenium and Appium. So you can't compare apples and oranges. Selenium and Appium are completely different. They are code platforms where you need to know how to script, how to maintain tests. More than that, setting up a testing framework, and then you also have these third-party frameworks which are required for example, reporting. If you want to bring out reports, then you have to attach another third-party framework like Extend Server, and then those are not customizable. And then you're stuck with something like an Allure reporting framework or an Extend Report framework. Your team doesn't like the UX on that report, and it's so sad to be using that. So Selenium and Appiums are literally, the basics, the basic way of trying to automate tests, whether it be mobile or web. They, as a beginner or even as an advanced engineer, right, it takes a lot of effort to be writing a test script. I've seen teams spending a lot of time onto test script maintenance. So people write 10 scripts today, and then tomorrow they have to fix 5 of those scripts, and then go ahead and write 5 more scripts. And the next day they are fixing 10 scripts, because Selenium and Appium are inherently flaky, and these things keep failing all the time. And test cases keep failing. It's just so sad to see test cases failing, and you go and tell the developers that something is failing, but it's really not failing on the production servers, or even on the testing servers on a different computer or on a different cloud device. So what I would really suggest is go ahead, use the product, and see how Selenium Appium is so different from Tessigma for that matter. So the next question is on mobile testing COE. That's a center of excellence setup. Very beautiful question. I mean, there are centers of excellences available at different service companies around the world. I've been a part of these centers of excellences, right? So these are structures. They have nothing to do with technology. They are not frameworks. But how do you set them up? The first and foremost thing is you have to have engineers who are skilled in automation, who have an idea of how automation testing works, or what are the different platforms, what are the different frameworks that are available in automation testing, and more importantly, consultants who understand the problems that people are going through today in terms of testing and automation, right? Not only I'm not only just talking about testing engineers who are facing a lot of difficulties in writing tests, executing them, maintaining test scripts, but also I'm talking about end users who are still suffering because the test scripts that people are writing today are not able to find bugs, right? These test scripts that I'm talking about, they only generally give you a lot of false positives, and they do not direct you towards a bug. So when it comes to an ROI, you hardly get any ROI, right? You don't. So automation scripts today using Selenium, Appium, whatever, they are really not finding bugs. They are themselves breaking a lot. I hope I've been able to address this question in a very brief way, but again, a mobile testing COE setting up would be a complete framework that we would love to share with you. We will give you all the ideas step by step that'll help you in designing this whole center of excellence, which will eventually help your customers, right? I think the next question on social login functionalities, Arun, I think probably asked that question. It's been answered. Was it answered?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, great. So what new can be done in mobile automation testing, especially for iOS apps? So one question that I've highlighted specifically to explain that I think Tessigma is the only product in the market today which allows you to automate a test case on an iOS device, which is a local iOS device. You will not find any other product in the market which helps you write test cases, run and execute for an iOS device which you have connected onto your computer. All right. I'm not talking about iOS simulators or devices on the cloud, but if you want to test out an iOS device which you have, your personal iOS device, and Tessigma is the only product out there which is helping you do that. Now, what new can be done? I think this is something that's really new and something path-breaking and something that no other product has. And that's why I've sort of highlighted that question, right? So we have one question that we skipped from here. That is part one. That is, how do we integrate Tessigma release in our automation framework? If yes, does it involve any cost, right? KR, would you like to introduce the concept that we are trying to
So now that we have seen the platform, like the whole platform, like the platform for your end-to-end testing, right? And it's not just mobile. Like if you go and explore, like it's a platform for all types of testing. Like there was a question like integration testing, regression testing, smoke testing, or for that matter, unit testing. And also like it supports different types of applications like the web, mobile web, Android native, iOS native, APIs, and desktop, and so on, right? And I know there's many companies to begin with, they want to start with open source because that's what the devs and creators would prefer to begin with. And after being in the industry for almost more than a couple of years, and we have decided to open source the entire product. Means like we're going to get the complete version of product as an open source offering very soon. That's an interesting thing. Like it's definitely going to be a very big change in the industry. Like it's definitely going to change the way how the automation testing tools have been picked up, right? And we have been like we're saying like even now. One of the interesting questions is like the drawbacks of codeless automation. There are no drawbacks. As I mentioned, there are only drawbacks with the tools just because they're not scalable and they're not flexible and extendable. Now with the open source approach, the codeless automation testing, like you can take it to that next level. Like if you see any challenges, like if you see any roadblocks, you can take the code and you can take the product and customize it and like use it for your custom requirements. So that is definitely going to change the way that you are testing today with Selenium and Appium, and move to codeless automation testing more confidently, because you are going to get the complete product as an outsource, like the open source offering, right? And there's no cost involved in it, but you'll have to wait for another 2-3 months time to, that's the timelines that we are looking at to release the open source version. So even now, whatever we have as a paid version, but nothing to worry, like you can request, if you can send us an email, like we'll give you an early access to whatever we are trying to build on the open source side, and you can get started with the platform as soon as possible, like or immediately for that matter, right? So that's an interesting thing, like the same product, whatever you've seen now so far, just for mobile testing, but like we have much better, like many more offerings in the platform is going to be available as an open source version very soon in next couple of months. Like the September 30th is the timeline that we are looking at, but anyway, we'll be sending out an email with once the dates are finalized. And yeah, looking forward you to use the platform and give us all the feedback, and we will let's try to build the platform together. Once it is open source, any of you, like we are expecting each one of you, or like every automation engineer and expert to share their thoughts and feedback, so that we can build the platform together and make it the most stable and reliable platform. So we have seen so many tools, like only challenge that we still facing is like the stability and reliability, right? And we have Selenium, Appium, we have like many commercial tools on the other side, but we are still struggling to scale the test automation. So with this open source approach, I'm sure like it's going to change the way that things are being handled now. So that's an interesting thing that we wanted to share with you all. Like it will be available as an open source very soon. Yeah, watch out, or we'll communicate that with you via email as soon as it's available.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, this is a game changer. It's a wonderful opportunity for you guys to start on. It's like a newer version of iPhone. It's like that. It's going to be pretty big. You're getting an amazing opportunity to test things out at a very nascent level when no one else has access. So please get in touch with us if you want to, experiment with our product. And that's it. So we have just covered the part 1 and part 2 of all the questions. Do we have any additional questions on the chat box?
I think we have covered pretty much. So there were a few questions on the pricing. I think so. As I mentioned, like it's going to be open source. Like there is no price or cost to it directly. You can use it in your production as well. Like it's not just for personal use. It's 100% free.
That's awesome. That's really going to be big, pretty awesome. Guys, do you have, if you have any opinions, suggestions, feedbacks, if you want to get in touch with us, if you want to be associated with us, please write to us at support@testsigma.com, or you can write directly to me at mahesh@testsigma.com. That is mahesh@testsigma.com. Please get in touch with us for any of your questions. And that's it. That's all for today's webinar.
Good. Thanks, Mahesh. Thank you all for your time.
Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining. Thank you.
See you again in our next webinar. Bye-bye.